Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Twine from New Beginnings First Start Counseling Group. My team and I are here to help you with some possible stress or anxiety that you may be experiencing. We're going to introduce you to some concepts. And as we begin, we're going to have two parts to this series of Calm Your Chaos, Proven Techniques for Anxiety Relief. With that being said, we're going to share some key information with regard to psychoeducation, as well as an activity, and then following with a technique that you can use as a tool in your day-to-day life for yourself or for someone that you may know who is experiencing some type of stressor or possible anxiety. Of course, with all information here, if you feel that the information that we are sharing is resonating with you or possibly someone that you know, please contact your nearest 911 if there is an emergency, but you can call an area therapist in order to help you. And then, of course, you're more than welcome to contact us here at New Beginnings so that we may be able to assist you if needed. With that being said, I'm going to turn things over to Sean. Sean is going to introduce us to psychoeducation as it pertains to anxiety and stressors. Sean, you have the floor.
Hello, thank you, Dr. Twine. Let me just. So sorry, I don't get why. Okay. Can you guys see the anxiety versus stress poster?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So, hello, everyone. Like Dr. Twine said, my name is Sean. I'm an intern here at New Beginnings Fresh Start Counseling Group, and I'm doing the psychoeducation over anxiety versus stress today for us. So, today we're going to talk about anxiety and how it relates to stress and the differences between good and bad stress. So, first, let's talk about what is anxiety. Anxiety, as you can see, is when you feel worried, scared, or uneasy for a long time. It can happen because you think something bad might happen, even if the danger is not real or clear. Physical symptoms of anxiety happens with racing hearts, sweating, and restlessness. Emotional symptoms have oftentimes you see worry, fear, or dreading. Behavioral responses such as avoidance of certain situations or the need for constant reassurance are often associated with anxiety as well. With anxiety, you oftentimes see a lot of people say that, it's a lot of times with the future. So that is one thing to keep in mind with stress and anxiety is a big difference is anxiety a lot of times focus on future consequences and things like that. And then next we will talk about stress. So what is stress? Stress, like anxiety, is a natural part of life. It's how we respond to challenges. But not all stress is bad, believe it or not. Stress is how, like I said, your body reacts to challenges in life. Sometimes stress can be good, which is known as eustress, or it can be bad stress, which is known as distress. And it depends on how it affects the individual. It's depending on how you would categorize as bad or good. Excuse me. So sometimes you will have some stress that seems motivational. It makes you want to take action and it's short term manageable. This is known as eustress to good stress. This is different, on the other hand, of distress, which is where it's overwhelming. It leads to inaction, avoidance. It's long lasting, difficult to escape. However, it does go away to once you have your coping mechanisms, which is different from anxiety, where it's more chronic and you need to seek professional help. We'll get into that a little bit later. So some examples of eustress could include some stress that makes us prepare for deadlines, exams, things like that. So those butterflies you feel when you get a new promotion, having that stress prepare you for, you're feeling ready for that promotion, yet you're stressful, but it's good stress, not that bad stress knowing that you're going to do bad or anything. You're prepared, you're ready. Significant life changes such as having a baby is a stressful time, but it's good stress. Having a new home, buying new homes, that's a lot of stress added on to your life, but a lot of times is good stress. However, you have the distress, the bad stress on the other side of it, which having some stressful situations such as illnesses, job loss, or even financial problems. A lot of times this is where we see the bad stress come in the individual life. This stress is a negative stress that overwhelms and drains our energy, where eustress gives us the motivation and drives us to continue, and our energy is increase. Sorry. Distress compared to anxiety is a little bit different, just because distress is tied to specific external events or challenges that meaning like the loss of job, illnesses, deadlines. Where anxiety, we have it often linked to the internal thoughts of or fears. It's the what if, like what if this goes wrong? What if this happens? Like I said earlier, those future events, a lot of times we see with the anxiety. Anxiety also can persist even after the stressor is removed, where with distress, the bad stress, once that stressor is eliminated, the distress is usually eliminated as well. And this is also, we can see in the symptoms, because as you can see here with the anxiety symptoms, distress does not have as much decrease and like or I'm sorry, not the decrease, the increase of the sweating, the restlessness, the worry and the fear, where instead we have more frustration, you're just feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling more stressed, if that makes any sense. And then also with the response to treatment, distress is, like I said, managed by the external, it's managed by eliminating the external stressor. So this can be done with problem solving or having a support system. Self-care strategies, just as like relaxation techniques or self-management, helping reduce the stress. Where anxiety, like I said, mentioned before, may require the professional treatment, including evidence-based treatments such as cognitive behavioral therapy, or for anxiety if it becomes too chronic. Techniques such as mindfulness, medication, and exposure therapy may also help with anxiety, which we can discuss later on. Which also I would like to further on with going with the role of perception with anxiety and stress. So a critical factor in figuring out whether the stress or anxiety, if it is anxiety, is if it was good or bad stress and how we perceive it. So when we see a situation that is going to challenge us, that we can overcome and we can persevere, and we're more likely to have a positive outcome, we have experienced good stress, which is the eustress, where the distress is where, if we see a situation where it's going to be more overwhelming for us, we're going to have it perceived more as distress, the bad stress. So a lot of times, like I said, you see this with reaching unrealistic deadlines and you feel unmotivated and overwhelmed, and leads you to procrastination, compared to, you're feeling good stress, to where if you have the support and you to meet those deadlines, you're feeling more motivated. The stress pushes you to complete these deadlines. Right down there kind of shows you, like I said, like the little differences as well too. And so then I also just wanted, mention too that stress is a part of life, but understanding whether it's helping us and hurting us is key. And you can learn more about this, about how to manage bad stress and anxiety, looking, like Dr. Twine said, with other local therapists, or if you wanted to come to us as well, we're more than willing to help you if you're local too with that aspect. But also with this upcoming election, a lot of times we see stress come in with both local parties saying certain things that may have your stress levels go up and you may feel distressed. So it's good to have those coping mechanisms, but also understanding what is the stress compared to the good stress, or the bad stress, and compared to eustress, the good stress. So just also, there's external stressors that is distress compared to anxiety as well. So you want to make sure you also understand the external versus internal. So if you've seen those events and challenges, it may be more of a bad stress compared to having those what if thoughts of the future, where it could be more lean into the anxiety. Same with the symptoms, along with the avoidance of situations, things like that. So this was a little rundown on anxiety and how stress, and how there's such a thing, believe it or not, as good stress, eustress, as we talked about, and bad stress, distress. And now Marge will go over and talk about a perception activity, and has to do with a little bit about this upcoming election as well too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sean. So, as Sean stated, anxiety centers around worrying about future events. And many times that worry involves our personal perspectives. So, right now we're going to do a perspective activity, which is going to help illustrate how our personal perspectives might influence our understanding and our responses. For this activity, I emailed each one of the panel members a picture, and they're going to take some time right now to describe to us what they see in their picture. So who would like to go first?
I'll go sharing what I see. So for mine, I have a young lady in pink and purple. Okay. She has a catcher's mitt catching a football. I think this is a goat. I'm not really this great on this. I think it's a goat dancing with a boy in red and yellow. Have a older gentleman wearing a hat upside down with a fish in it, and a woman in pink and blue. She's pushing a baby in a stroller. And then I have a man who is sitting on the lawn on top of a door, and the door has numbers on it, and he's drinking a beverage. I have a bird in a bird's nest watching the people, and then I have a guy in magenta and green, and he's in what looks like a inflatable canoe boat rowing on the grass. And that's what's in my picture.
Okay, Sean, would you like to go next?
Yeah, thank you. So in my picture, I have what seems like a bottom half of an animal, maybe a donkey, and a person in red pants with blue shoes. And then I also have the um, gentleman with the upside down hat with the fish in purple, and along with the woman with the baby in the stroller wearing pink with the blonde hair. And then I see a half of a individual drinking a soda pop in a green shirt that seems to be half of a door. Can't see much more of that. And then I see a individual wearing a chef hat and a hamburger, a little apron, and a red shirt selling hot dogs to a girl wearing a striped shirt with a ponytail and pink shirt or pants. And then I see a young man with blonde hair and a blue shirt, and it's cut off.
Okay. And Olivia?
Yeah, I see um I see a person drumming on what looks to be like a donut with pink frosting. There's a person playing an instrument with like blonde hair. There's a quarter of a guy going out of the frame with blue and purple bike gear on, and his bike has a triangle for a wheel. I do see the old guy with the hat with the fish in the top, and just a boy with a mitt on. There's a guy with what looks to be like a baguette, but he's playing it like a musical instrument. And I see just the baby, which looks like it's reading a newspaper in a red stroller.
Okay, thank you guys so much. So right now, I'm going to share the complete picture. So in this complete picture, can you see how everybody's description contributed to the complete picture? Like Dr. Twine pointed out the boy dancing with the goat or the bird people watching with the binoculars, while Sean pointed out the man with the fish on his head and the vendor giving the girl a ruler in the hot dog bun. And Olivia pointed out the people underneath the gazebo, the man drumming on the hot dog or the baguette that's being played like a flute. Each one of their descriptions had similar elements to it, but also were very different. And that's important to remember about perspectives. Perspectives are diverse. We can see this in particular when we look at eyewitness accounts. No two eyewitness eyewitnesses ever report the exact same thing, even though they're watching a similar incident. And this is especially true in times of high stress, like accidents or crimes. So perspectives are diverse, but they're also filtered. Our perspectives are filtered through our deeply held values and beliefs, which are actually built around our personal backgrounds, our personal experiences, and our emotions. So to illustrate this, let's look at this picture again. And if you can see the baby here reading the newspaper, somebody in that world might have a deeply held value that cleanliness provides safety. And they might become quite alarmed at this baby reading this paper because newspapers are kind of dirty. And on top of that, babies are vulnerable in the aspect that they can't keep themselves clean. They're dependent upon other people. So this person might determine that we need to make a rule in this world that babies shouldn't touch newspapers. Well, somebody else in this world might have another deeply held value that information provides safety. And for them, if you make a rule that restricts information, it's going to cause them to be upset. One thing to remember is for both of these people, their perspectives are valid to them because they're built upon their deeply held values and beliefs and their personal experiences and backgrounds and their emotions. So because perspectives are diverse, filtered, and valid to the people holding them, we need to understand that they can kind of cause division and disconnection unless we become good at perspective taking. Perspective taking is the ability to broaden our focus to see a more complete picture. We kind of saw this in our activity as Dr. Twine described what she saw, and Sean described what he saw, and Olivia described what she saw. We were able to see a bigger and bigger and bigger, more complete picture of what everybody was looking at. Perspective taking is accomplished through communication and empathy. And this would kind of sound like this. I'm going to take some time right now to share with you my deeply held values and beliefs that are built upon personal experiences, emotions, and background. And I'm also going to take some time to listen as you share yours so that we can come to a place where we can understand each other. Perspective taking helps build strong, healthy relationships, and strong, healthy relationships help reduce feelings of anxiety in challenging times, kind of like our current political season. Going forward, it's important to remember that a person's personal perspective is a unique lens through which they view the world, and it's crafted through their experiences and their values. To nurture our most cherished relationships, we need to get good at perspective taking and understand that understanding and empathy have the ability to bridge even the widest of gaps. When we embrace diverse views, we help deepen our connections and we help ourselves to have a richer understanding of one another. So right now, I'm going to hand us over to Olivia, who is going to share with us a technique that we can use when that anxiety that we're feeling might start to feel overwhelming. Olivia?
Thank you, Margaret, and thank you for all of that insight on our perspectives. We're going to go through a technique today, which is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. First, we're going to take a moment to kind of check in with ourselves. You can do this kind of in your head, basing it off of a scale of 1, you're feeling kind of anxious in your body, you're feeling nerves, you can feel tension, and 10, you don't really feel any of that in your body. You can take a few moments to kind of consider that. You can do this exercise whether you're standing, sitting, laying down. You can do it when you're out in public. You can do it when you're alone. You can do it when you're in crowded places, even if you need to kind of check out for a moment. I'm going to have everyone close their eyes for a second, and we're going to start just kind of with some deep breathing. We're gonna breathe in deep through our nose and out through our mouths. And we're gonna do one more. Breathe in through our nose. And out through our mouths. Deep breath in through our nose. And deep breath out. And after doing a few of those deep breaths, you can kind of take a moment to check in and see how you're feeling again. See where your body is taking you, whether you're still feeling anxious or you're kind of feeling your chest start to flatten and feeling some of those anxious nerves, as mentioned, can be felt in the upper region. And after, you can stay in this moment for as long as you need. And if you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes back up and take the time to let the light kind of adjust back into your perspective, taking a moment to look around and be aware of your surroundings and where you are, what you can see. The first step of this grounding technique, based off of our five senses. The first one is going to be 5 things you can see. So just taking a moment to kind of look around your room or your space. And you can say this out loud to yourself. You can say it in your head, but you can identify what you can see. I can see a lamp. I can see a basket, a window, flowers, a blanket, and just kind of checking in with where you are. After that, if you kind of want to take a moment to see 4 things you can feel. So if you have things around you, you can feel your shirt on your body. You can kind of feel the ground, feel grounded with it. If you have a cushion by you, I have a cushion. I can feel the cushion. I can feel the pencil next to me. And seeing 4 things that you can feel, just kind of getting acquainted again with your senses. And next, you're going to take a moment to kind of see what you can hear. And you can just be quiet for one moment. And you can identify 3 things that you can hear in this moment. So I can hear a clock ticking. I can kind of hear the hum of the air conditioning. And I can hear cars passing by outside. And after that, we're going to take a moment to identify 2 things we can smell. Even taking a deep breath in again, going back to those breathing techniques we used in the beginning, the deep breath in through our nose and out through your mouth, and just seeing what smell. I can smell a candle that's lit, and there is kind of a smell from the air conditioner. You can sometimes, I think you can sometimes smell it. And then lastly, we're just gonna kind of take this all and think about what emotion you're feeling right now. Whether you're excited for what you're gonna eat for dinner, whether you're proud of the work you did today, whether you're kind of nervous for a presentation you have tomorrow. You can think about those emotions for a minute, but allow yourself to feel them and identify them. And we're just going to kind of end this out again with looking at our scale that we mentioned earlier, taking a moment to reevaluate where we kind of feel like we land, seeing if we felt any anxiety dissipate, seeing if this has calmed us down going forward. And like I said, this is a good technique that you can use in any space. So whether you're alone, whether it's nighttime and you're just feeling anxious from the day, whether you're out in public and it's a crowded place, it's something that you can easily do. You can find 5 things So I'm gonna turn it back to Dr. Twine to end us out with this seminar.
Thank you, Olivia, as well as Sean and Margaret. So today in our seminar, we really just wanted to introduce you to the concepts as it pertains to anxiety and knowing the difference between that as well as stress. And in this particular webinar, we really hope to really just introduce you to these concepts so that you can understand the difference between stress and anxiety, but also to recognize their symptoms, see if they are familiar with you or maybe someone that you know, and then to build upon that by learning strategies to help you to be able to manage both. Now, why is this important? When we are dealing with stressors, issues in our lives, sometimes it can be overwhelming. We have an upcoming political change possibly, and as a result, that can bring some individual stressors as they go out to the polls, but it may also bring stressors with regard to just having conversations, maybe with family members or with loved ones, and possibly experiencing differences in our beliefs and our values, and as a result, bringing about anxiety when we are around such individuals. Overall, this can affect your mental and emotional health. It can sometimes, if it is in a work environment, it could change your productivity level. And in some cases, it can change your overall well-being. But before it has to go that far, you can begin by understanding the differences between stress and something that is leading towards anxiety. Earlier, before we began, I gave you some information with regard to stressors and anxiety. If it is beyond your point of ability to control, then of course to reach out by calling 911 if it is an emergency, or to contact an area local therapist. With that being said, I'm going to begin to close us out. Again, we learned some very valuable tips. Sean provided us with information with regard to psychoeducation to introduce these concepts to us. And we really learned about perspectives through the activity that Margaret has shared with us, and also seeing how even with the picture that she showed us, within the different pieces that we saw, even in bringing it all together, we can look at the overall picture and be able to see different perspectives on what we saw that may not be agreeable with someone else. So for instance, there was a young lady who had on seemingly winter clothes and it didn't seem to be winter outside. May be appropriate for her. My perspective on that may be different from someone else. Margaret identified perspective of a baby holding a newspaper. All in all, it's about being able to manage those differences of perspectives. And when we find it challenging to do so, Olivia was able to close us out with a closing technique, a grounding technique that is very easy to adopt. I hope you're able to implement it in your day-to-day life if anxiety or stress may be an issue for you. So hopefully this has been helpful. We do have a part 2 to calm your chaos that will provide you some additional information that will hopefully be as helpful as this seminar has been for you for today. And with that, we are going to close. I hope this has been helpful with managing any strategies, understanding the differences between stress and anxiety, and most importantly, empowering you to be able to overcome it, leaving you with some powerful takeaways. Till next time, I'm Dr. Twine at New Beginnings Fresh Start Counseling Group, and we've enjoyed you in this webinar. Have a great day.